Well, all right then. I'm going to go ahead and reset the timer, which is games without a blown lead. I'm going to go ahead and reset it to 0 because the Miami Heat took care of business today, and I feel good about it. I don't care if it's the Washington Wizards. How many times have the Heat lost this game to the Wizards or the Hornets or the bottom of the barrel teams in the NBA? The Heat lose that game all the time, especially on a night like tonight where they were missing like 3 starters. You had no Khalil Ware, no Andrew Wiggins, no Davion Mitchell. You had no Nikola Jovic, obviously with the broken hand. Jaime Jaquez still dealing with the ankle. So you were starting Terry Rozier and Kevin Love. So I suppose if the Heat would have lost this game, it certainly wouldn't have shocked me. I mean, nothing this Heat team does anymore can shock me. So the fact that they won and it was a comfortable win versus a terrible Wizards team, I'm going to take it. So I'm going to take the optimistic route this video. And I understand if you're in the comments and you want to just say, hey, it's just the Wizards, who cares? Sure, but you must be real fun at parties if that's the attitude you're going to take about this game. You can only play who's on your schedule. All right. Now, of course, it would have been nice if they didn't blow a 19-point lead to the Knicks. You would have been riding, what's that, a 3-game win streak? A 4-game win streak. Tonight would have been 4 games in a row going into Cleveland, which is their next game, which I think is on Wednesday. Let me check. Tuesday, no game. Wednesday, ESPN, 7 o'clock versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. And listen, while I don't feel great about this team right now, because obviously they just blew a 19-point lead to the Knicks, and this game versus Washington does nothing to change my mind at all that maybe they're going to go on a run. If the Heat beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland on Wednesday night, make sure y'all tune into that post game because it's going to be lit. Now, I will say that the last time the Heat beat the Cavaliers this year, prior to that game, I said that if the Heat win, it'll really change my outlook on this Heat team. Now, of course, the Heat won, and I was a lot more optimistic after that, and then it all went back to crap, basically meaning 500, because they go above 500, they go below 500. But as of right now, the Heat are still under 500. I think it says 3 games here. Let me check if that's updated. It's not. So there'll be 2 games under 500 once the win-loss column is updated after this game. Meaning they still got to win 2 more in a row to get back to 500 as that perpetual cycle continues. So what better game to get a win against than the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are now 50-10. Oh, my God. They've won 10 in a row. Good Lord. But, hey, the Wizards actually won like 4 out of their last 5 road games. So, I don't know. Let's feel good about tonight. That was 3 minutes of me trying to be optimistic about this team, but I got nothing else. We'll go through some of my notes because there was a lot of good today. So we talked about all the guys the Heat were missing. Doesn't sound like anyone is long term, except Nikola Jovic. Obviously, he's going to be reevaluated in about another 3 weeks. But Jaime Jaquez, he sprained his ankle pretty bad a few games ago. Eric Spoelstra said that it looked worse on video than it actually was. Said Jaime was already walking around okay. That's good news. Andrew Wiggins was questionable today, so obviously I assume he's going to be questionable to likely to play on Wednesday. And Khalil Ware, Spoelstra said it was nothing serious, or Ware also said it's not a big deal. He doesn't expect to be out long term. Hopefully he can play Wednesday, because if they don't have Ware versus the Twin Towers in Cleveland, it's not going to be pretty. And then Davion Mitchell, something popped up with him today too. I forget what it was with him, but I don't think it's too serious with any of these guys. That being said, the Heat did start Kevin Love, Alec Burks, and Terry Rozier today in their places, and I think all those guys played pretty well for the most part. Terry Rozier actually got off to a decent start. Maybe he was feeling himself a bit too much because he had a lob to Bam Adebayo to start the game, which was awesome. We've been asking, where the hell have the Terry lobs been all season? He was great at that with Charlotte. We haven't seen it this year, but he had a lob to Bam. Then he had a lob to Tyler Hero, which was a bit funny looking. Tyler didn't dunk it, but Tyler was able to lay it in. And then you had Terry Rozier try to lob it to Haywood Highsmith. And, of course, Haywood didn't even jump because I don't think anyone's ever been crazy enough to throw Haywood Highsmith a lob in his entire life. But the ball sailed out of bounds, and I'm like, all right, relax, Terry, a little bit. He still did some of the bad shot selection stuff, but I feel like he was fine today. As overall on the game, Terry Rozier shot, had 15 points, and he shot 5 of 12. 1 of 7 from 3. It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I will say, though, based off Terry Rozier standards, 42% from the field and 14% from three. I guess that's a little bit better than what he's been doing. I don't know. I was trying to give him some credit, and then I go and look at the box score, and it wasn't super pretty. But he was a plus 11 today, which might be a season high for him. So we have that. To continue with the optimistic theme of this video, the Heat were up 8 at the end of the first quarter, and then that would balloon up all the way to 19 by halftime. But of course, the story of the game in that second quarter was the really cool moments where Bam Adebayo passed Ronnie Seikaly for franchise double-doubles. And the cool part about it is they were actually interviewing Ronnie Seikaly on the broadcast for like the whole second half of the second quarter. And Bam checked out with about 3 minutes to go, came back in. He got 2 more rebounds and clinched the double-double with about a minute to go in the second quarter. So it was cool to hear from Seikaly, who, by the way, he's a cool dude, man. If y'all didn't know, he's like a DJ nowadays. They call him the spin doctor, Ronnie Seikaly. So shout out to him, bro. It was nice to see the Heat's first ever draft pick still having ties with the organization. And it was a beautiful moment. He had his daughter there. You can tell that it kind of meant a lot to him that although his record is being broken, he was very proud that it lasted for 31 years. So it was cool that he was actually there on the broadcast where it happened. Obviously, Eric Reed was very excited as well. Same thing with John Crotty. So just a cool moment. It really was. And shout out to Bam Adebayo, who obviously he should dominate that record now, assuming he stays with the Miami Heat long term because he still is so young and continuing to get better every single year. And Ronnie Seikaly, funny enough, it was 32 years ago to the day, on March 3rd, 32 years ago, where he had 34 rebounds. A Heat franchise record. And Ronnie Seikaly was also saying that he's surprised how long that record has lasted. And I'm like, I'm not. 34 rebounds is insane. It's actually the 4th most rebounds all time. Well, since the merger, since the ABA-NBA merger. And he's just behind Moses Malone, Charles Barkley, and Dennis Rodman. So obviously that's great company for Ronnie Seikaly to be in. So don't sleep on a spin doctor. And again, just a cool moment. He was talking about he finally met Bam for the first time just earlier last week. And he had nothing but great things to say about Bam Adebayo, which is the theme of everyone that has ties with the Heat organization. Ronnie Seikaly talked about passing the torch to Bam, and that's all. Well, that sounds weird considering Seikaly's been retired for 20 years, but he talked about passing the torch to Bam, which is the same sentiment we've heard from Zoe and Pat and Udonis Haslem and Spo, and it just goes to show that Bam, he has the heart. The numbers might not always be there. Obviously, of late over the last few weeks, we've been talking about how awesome he's been to start the season. We were disappointed with the aggression and all those other things, but at the end of the day, he still has the heart of a champion, and I have the ultimate respect for guys like that. I really, really do. But yeah, the Heat were up 19 at halftime. A lot of that was because the Wizards were just stupid as hell, taking dumbass shots, and it quite literally looked like they gave up on defense. The Heat were getting to the rim. They had all kinds of fast breaks, just open lanes to the rim. And then on the offensive end for them, Marcus Smart was jacking up awful 3 after awful 3. That guy sucks. And if he was to somehow get bought out, even though he's got 2 years left on his contract, a lot of Heat fans would want him. I would not. Marcus Smart today finished with, played 18 minutes, shot 2 of 7. And yeah, I just feel like his shot selection was terrible. And he's not the defender that he once was, although he is a fraudulent defensive player of the year. But anyways, in the third quarter, the Wizards did go on a little bit of their run. I wasn't nervous just because, I guess I should have been. It's the Heat. They could blow a lead to anyone. But that Wizards team is really kind of stinky. And it's not like it got too close, so I'm not too mad at the Heat. I think they did cut our lead in half from 19 down to 8. But then the Heat had some really nice relief baskets from Kyle Anderson, who continues to really impress me. His slow, I get the slow motion thing. I do, because it's almost like he sees the game in slow motion. The way he's able to drive and no one speeds him up, and he finds guys cutting back door because he just waits for the right moment. And it's a very unique skill to have. He's not just go, go, go like a lot of young guys. He's able to control the pace in the game in such an amazing way. And I really like Kyle Anderson. And then the Heat were up 13 at the end of the third quarter, and then they really just dominated the Wizards in the fourth quarter. Only won 25-22, but they were up. The Wizards put a lot of lipstick on the pig in the last few minutes there. But shout out to Pelle Larsson, too. We saw a lot of great connections between Kyle Anderson and Pelle Larsson. Obviously, with a guy like Kyle Anderson, he works very well with guys who know how to move without the ball. We've seen it with Duncan Robinson. We've seen it with Bam. And now we're seeing it with Pelle Larsson, who I also think is a very, very smart player. So we'll kind of run through the box score now. And I want to start with Pelle Larsson because he might be one of the stories of the game. Had a I guess season high, career high, same thing. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Y'all know, we haven't said it in a while, so I'll say it again. I've always said Pelle Larsson is a guy who right now is good at a lot of things with the potential to be great at those things. So we kind of saw it today with him stuffing the stat sheet, obviously with the 4 boards and 5 rebounds as well. Defensively, he was pretty good too. He was playing passing lanes. No steals here, but I feel like on ball, he was pretty good. And he shot 6 of 11 overall. Obviously, he was efficient there, but only 1 of 4 from 3. But yeah, I mean, I like when he attacks. I think he's very good at that. I think he has the physical frame for that. And I think for a rookie, he shows a lot of poise out there, which is what you'd expect from a 4-year college guy. And I guess that's why the Heat kind of drafted him in the first place, is because they believe that he could play right now, which we've seen him do this year. And I mean, if I had to grade his rookie season, I know we gave grades a couple videos ago, but I guess I would grade his rookie season relative to expectations at like, I don't know, I guess like a B minus, maybe like a B minus C plus, only because he hasn't played a lot. So I don't want to bump his grade up just because he had a good game tonight. But when he has played, I don't think he's been a liability out there. And he has been a guy that Spoelstra has had to use in spots like he did tonight because of injuries. He's a guy that you can kind of rely on out there. But we'll go through the starting lineup. You got Alec Burks, who played very well last game, shot 3 of 7 from 3 today. Hey, I'll take 43% on 3 on decent volume any day of the week. Very happy with Alec Burks. Kevin Love played 12 minutes, which is about all he can give you nowadays. So Spo was able to get that out of him. Only had 2 points, but the 9 boards. Kevin Love, he could wake up out of bed and get you almost 10 boards with his eyes closed and one hand tied behind his back. He's awesome. He had like 7 of those boards in the first 4 minutes of the game. Like, it looked like he might pass Roddy Seikaly's 34 rebound game tonight. How funny would that have been? But shout out to K Love, bro. He's missed a lot of time recently with personal reasons. We found out it was because of the birth of his child. So shout out to him for that. Absolutely love Kevin Love. Great locker room guy as well. Bam Adebayo followed up his masterclass last game in which he shot 12 of 16 with another not highly efficient. I guess he was 7 of 16, but very well-rounded game today. 19 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Was getting to his mid-range spot as he always does. Caught a few lobs today. Caught the one from Terry we talked about. Caught another one from Pella. So over these last couple of weeks, some of these guys have started to work him in more in regards to like the pick and roll and getting him some easy looks. He won't, I don't think his full potential offensively will be realized until the Heat get a true point guard, but I sound like a broken record saying that. But Tyler Hero today, obviously we were very critical of him last game. He really toned it down today. Only played 26 minutes because the fourth quarter was such a blowout. He never actually needed to check back in. But what I love to see is he bounced back with much better efficiency. 6 to 10 today, so 60% from the field. Got you 16 points, 3 rebounds, and the part that I love the most, 6 assists. He did have 3 turnovers, but still nice to see him move the ball pretty well tonight as he has been doing this season. Had a great pocket pass to Alec Burks in the corner. I just feel like Tyler Hero is seeing the game very well right now, and the shot selection stuff like last night's has been very frustrating at times. But since we're a positive this video, I'll say it's because he's just so confident in himself that he thinks every shot he takes is going in. And for a young guy has a lot of people talking trash about him every day, I do respect that he's never lost his confidence. Terry Rozier today, we talked about his stats earlier, plus 11. Shout out to him. Don't get many chances to be positive about him. Kyle Anderson, stuff the stat sheet. I'm telling you, this kid is good, man. Well, kid, he's old as hell, but he's good, man. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He does everything out there. Only 1 turnover today. I kind of like him as like a temporary Jovic replacement. Eventually, when Jovic comes back, maybe have Kyle Anderson as like an emergency backup type of guy. I think he can be a great locker room vet leader if Kevin Love maybe isn't back next year. I know the Heat still have Kyle Anderson on contract for 2 more years after this. I like it. At first, during the trade, I was disappointed they kept his long-term money because they were trying to get rid of him. But I think he's a good piece. he's another nice emergency guy, like, break glass in case of emergency. I feel good when he's out there. I really, really do. And Hayward Highsmith today, 26 minutes, got you 8 points. Duncan Robinson played pretty well as well. 17 points for him, 7 of 13 overall. So he's on a pretty nice stretch right now, shooting-wise, over the last couple of weeks. And then, of course, we talked about Pelle Larsson. And shout out to Chris Middleton. He started the game with a nice jumper, started the third quarter with an and one three-pointer, and I just seen flashbacks going through my head of all the times Chris Middleton has torched us. Between him and Corey Kispert, this team's got some heat killers. Thank God they don't have Garrison Matthews anymore, or they probably would have won tonight. But yeah, Chris Middleton today, only 6 points, or 16 points for him. But yeah, that's really all I got to say for this video. The Heat took care of business. I'm happy about it. Let me know y'all thoughts down below, and drop your score predictions for the Heat versus Cavaliers. I'll be reading what everyone has to say, and if any of y'all get pretty close or exactly right, I'll shout y'all out next video because I'll be reading all the comments. Anyways, subscribe, like the video, comment, all that good stuff is greatly appreciated, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.